A while back, I did an article for fatherly.com, and the article was basically for men who were no longer attracted to their wife's pregnant body. In fact, men, many times when their wife gets pregnant, when she's really starts showing, for men, it's scary and they don't like it and they're not attracted to their body. So, what ends up happening is the men don't desire their wife, they feel terribly guilty about it. Their wife feels bad because her body's changing and she already is hormonal and having issues with being a mom and whether or not dad will be a good dad. And maybe she starts feeling like they're not talking anymore or he may withdraw. This can be a leading problem for couples, and I see a fair amount of them. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I had so many men reach out to me and say, Mary Jo, I used to feel alone in this. I didn't know that this was common, but in fact, this is quite common. There is really no area in society where guys can go and talk to other expectant dads and just talk about how they feel about their wife's changing body. You know, with the baby, everything is centered on the woman. The woman feels her changing body, she sees it, she gets morning sickness, she gets kicked, and all of those things help reaffirm to her that she has a baby. And so in a way, during that pregnancy, she becomes a mother. Well, that is scary many times to some men because they start thinking, wait a minute, this was the woman I fell in love with, this is my lover, this is my wife, but I'm just not sure about, a mom part. Like, can I do this? In fact, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is to reassure women most of the time this has very little to do with you. It is mostly what's going on with the guy. With the guys that I've talked to, these are main concerns of them. And I want you to jot them down because I think the most detrimental part of feeling a lack of desire for your wife's pregnant body is you start feeling guilty, so you just quit talking. And when she says, what's wrong, baby? You say things like, I'm stressed, or I had a bad day at work, or I'm just thinking about other things, maybe I'm tired. You're giving excuses instead of feeling comfortable being honest about it. Well, it's hard to be honest about how you're feeling if you don't know what's underneath it. So here's some possible causes. Maybe it's because dad is saying, will I be a good father? And am I ready for this? Am I able to be there 100%? Like, am I going to carry my share of this load? I don't want my wife to do it all. Am I going to be able to do this? Men may be thinking about their own childhood. Was your dad a good dad? A lot of the men grow up with very little mentorhood from their fathers. And so this is a concern. Or they know things about their dad. Their dad was harsh. He was maybe over toxic masculinity, and they're not that way, and they don't want to raise a child with that same mindset. They may be wondering, am I financially ready? Like, can I provide for two people now, or however many you're going to have? Am I going to let her down, or am I going to be able to do this? Am I secure enough? Will she be healthy in this? Lots of women have preeclampsia and other medical problems when they're carrying a child. And this is terrifying to the fathers. They're like, oh my God, it'd be terrible to lose a baby, but it'd be 10 times worse to lose my love, my wife. And how would I do it alone if something happened to her? I think these kind of fears keep guys up, but guys aren't always able to even entertain that, to give themselves the space to think about that. So I do want to reassure you guys, it's important that you talk about it. If you're looking for other ways, when couples come in and say, Mary Jo, we need to get our sex life back, guys will be desperate and say, help me think of something so I'm more attracted to my wife again. I'll say, listen, Physical intimacy, the lack of it, is not going to kill your marriage right now. But what will is if you guys get emotionally disconnected. If you withdraw and stop talking to your partner, now that could severely harm your marriage. So what you want to do is you want to touch more. You want to talk more. You want to talk late into the night. You want to talk to your partner about everything, about how your childhood was, how you're feeling now. Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you a little bit apprehensive? Share those things. That's going to make her feel closer to you. And always remember, if you're talking and you're able to tell her, this isn't about you, this really is about me and my own insecurities and my own fears, I promise you, after that baby comes and all of her is coming back to you, you're going to get into a groove and you're going to be able to desire her again. If you don't, then you just reach out to a therapist, because many times it's just working through some unresolved part of this pregnancy and this marriage, and something it may have started that you hadn't finished in your past, like an old memory or an old post-traumatic, some kind of a traumatic memory. Any of those things can keep it lingering after the baby. But if you step up and you begin now being brave enough to be vulnerable with what you're feeling, you're going to do okay. And she's going to end up feeling closer to you, because I promise you, she has vulnerabilities and fears too.